All right, Cowboys Nation, let's get into it. Right now, the most pressing topic on everyone's mind is the trade deadline and what Dallas might actually do before the clock runs out. Now, I know some of y'all are already riding that emotional roller coaster, ready to panic or freak out at the first hint of news, so let me slow you down. The way this front office operates, nothing is ever completely locked in until it's locked in. Jerry Jones has a unique approach. He plays the long game. He protects his leverage, and he knows that showing desperation in the market is a rookie mistake. Think about it like this. If you desperately need your car fixed, the mechanic isn't exactly going to cut you a deal, right? It's the same concept here. When you appear desperate, teams see an opening, and that's not the Cowboys style. Jerry has made it clear that as of now, there isn't a trade on the table in his mind, and that's not just him hedging or trying to be clever. There simply isn't a deal that makes sense for them right now. But let's be clear, things in the NFL are fluid. One day a move looks impossible, the next day it becomes plausible. The Cowboys have always treated their number one picks like gold, rarely moving them unless it's for a bona fide superstar, someone like a Matt Crosby or a Myles Garrett type. So don't expect any first-round picks to be tossed into a trade just for the sake of making a headline. The extra first-rounders and high-round selections they've accumulated over the years give them flexibility, making some of the lesser picks expendable, but only in ways that align with smart long-term strategy. That doesn't mean nothing will happen. If a deal is out there that improves the roster without giving up too much, especially in the second or third day pick range, Dallas isn't going to sit still. But you have to understand how they value their assets. Any move has to make sense in a broader context. They've reached out to teams before, gauged interest, and sometimes the stars you might want to acquire simply aren't available because other teams aren't willing to part with them. It's not that the Cowboys won't do anything. It's that nothing worth doing has presented itself yet. So as fans, patience is key. Now, while we're talking trade speculation, let's address the ongoing chatter about George Pickens. There's been a lot of noise about potential trades or contract talks, and frankly, it's often misleading. Pickens is on an expiring contract, and everyone who's paying attention knows that his representatives were clear. Negotiations will wait until after the season. So any report suggesting otherwise is either lazy journalism or an attempt to create drama where there isn't any. The reality is that trading him now would almost certainly yield less value than what he actually brings to the team. Dallas just gave up a pick to acquire him, and he's already making a significant impact on offense. The smart move is to let him play, let him showcase his abilities, and address contract talks at the appropriate time. Some media outlets keep trying to craft these narratives about trading Pickens to build up other areas of the roster, particularly the defense, and that's simply not necessary. Dallas already has the second most cap space in the league, and the roster is structured so that several key defensive players will become free agents, opening additional financial flexibility. The notion that the only way to strengthen the team is by moving a player who has become a vital part of the offensive puzzle is fundamentally flawed. The offense is in a much better position now, and the Cowboys' strategy has always been about building balance. You don't trade a player who can shift the dynamic of the passing game for a couple of mid-round picks. That's not how smart football operations work. Micah Parsons' recent comments about Trevon Diggs and the handling of his health have also stirred conversation, but context is everything. Parsons expressed frustration that Diggs wasn't on the field as much as some might have hoped, but the reality is the front office has consistently prioritized player health and long-term outcomes. Expectations of immediate returns or strict timelines don't always align with how the team manages injuries. Fans sometimes forget that these players are human beings, and while they are paid millions, their health and recovery must remain a priority. Parsons' emotions are understandable, but framing this as mishandling by management overlooks the bigger picture. The Cowboys' approach has always been strategic rather than reactionary. They evaluate performance, manage contracts, and handle trades with a perspective that looks beyond the next game. Some moves may seem counterintuitive in the short term, but when you strip away fan emotion and media hype, a lot of the decisions start to make sense. From draft pick management to player acquisitions, every move is part of a calculated plan. First-round picks are treated with care, mid-round selections are leveraged thoughtfully, and the team's salary cap strategy ensures flexibility for future seasons. So while the rumor mill churns and social media debates rage on, The reality is that the Cowboys front office is working quietly, evaluating all options, and making decisions based on value, timing, and long-term team health. It's easy to get caught up in speculation about trades, contracts, and media narratives, but the true picture is more nuanced. Every player move, every draft pick, and every contract negotiation fits into a larger strategy designed to keep Dallas competitive now and sustainable for the seasons to come. Fans should focus on the tangible impact of the players already on the roster. George Pickens is producing, the offensive line is stabilizing, and the young talent on both sides of the ball is developing steadily. Trading for marginal improvements at the expense of proven contributors rarely benefits a team strategically. The Cowboys have built a roster where the balance between offense, defense, and cap space allows them to react when opportunities arise without compromising stability. It's not flashy, but it's smart football, and that's the lens through which every move should be viewed. In short, Cowboys Nation, the trade deadline may come and go without headline-grabbing deals, but that doesn't mean the team isn't improving or positioning itself for success. Every decision is measured, every asset evaluated, and every rumor filtered through a lens of strategy rather than hype. While some media narratives try to suggest chaos or mismanagement, the truth is that Dallas continues to operate with precision and foresight, building not just for today, but for years ahead. Fans should keep watching, keep analyzing, and trust that the team's actions, even if subtle, are aimed at maintaining Dallas' position as a competitive powerhouse. This is the environment the Cowboys have cultivated: patience, calculated risks, and a focus on value. As the deadline approaches, the potential for moves exists, but only if they truly enhance the roster without sacrificing long-term assets. That is the hallmark of a front office that understands both the business and the game. Every statement from Jerry Jones, every move in the background, every negotiation is a piece of a larger strategy. The noise from media and social chatter may cloud perception, but the underlying reality is that Dallas is methodical, measured, and forward-thinking, ensuring the team remains a force to be reckoned within the league. All right, Cowboys Nation, let's keep the conversation rolling, because there's more to unpack about the current state of the team and what's happening behind the scenes. One thing that stands out is how media narratives continue to distort the reality of the Cowboys' decision-making. There's a lot of talk about trades, about who should be moved, who should be extended, and who might be expendable, but much of it doesn't hold up when you consider the actual structure and priorities of the team. Take the ongoing discussions around George Pickens, for example. Some voices insist that the Cowboys need to flip him for a pick to balance the roster or strengthen the defense, but that's fundamentally a misunderstanding of value. Pickens isn't just any wide receiver. He's a game-changing piece of the offense, someone who provides consistency, threat level, and balance that the team has lacked for seasons. The idea of moving him for anything less than a first-round pick is simply unrealistic, and frankly, it would be counterproductive. Let's be honest, the Cowboys have positioned themselves exceptionally well in terms of roster construction and salary cap management. They have a core of players performing at high levels, supplemented by younger talent that can step into starting roles without destabilizing the team. When you factor in the upcoming free agency period and the natural attrition of contracts, it's clear that Dallas has flexibility to make moves in the future if needed. That's why trading a critical offensive piece now doesn't make strategic sense. It's not about sentimentality. It's about practical, smart football management. The offense now has options it hasn't had in years. With Pickens on the field, the Cowboys finally have a secondary target who can assume the top role if needed, a player capable of making defenses pay when they focus on CeeDee Lamb. That's not a luxury. That's a competitive necessity. The media sometimes paints a distorted picture, implying chaos or indecision. But the reality is that the Cowboys front office has consistently prioritized stability, value, and timing. Jerry Jones' commentary about the trade deadline exemplifies this approach. He's not hedging. He's signaling that only the right deal makes sense. Roster decisions, especially at the trade deadline, aren't about panic or impulse. They're about positioning the team for immediate competitiveness without compromising future seasons. This philosophy extends to both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. It's easy to criticize from the outside, but understanding the broader context shows the careful orchestration happening behind the scenes. Turning to the defense, there are valid conversations about roster depth and contract situations, particularly with young stars who will become free agents. The Cowboys have invested wisely in the defensive core, and several of these players will see opportunities to renegotiate or move on, which in turn opens cap space for future moves. The idea that a single trade, particularly involving a player like Pickens, is necessary to improve the defense is oversimplified. In reality, the team's approach is about long-term balance, managing cap space, developing talent, and making sure that every asset contributes to sustainable success. The calculus is not immediate gratification, it's calculated risk and forward planning. Player health is another area that requires perspective. The recent discussions around Trevon and Micah Parsons highlight the complexity of these decisions. There's a perception among some that the team mishandled situations or didn't prioritize player well-being, but context matters. The Cowboys have consistently maintained timelines that protect players while maximizing the opportunity for meaningful impact once they return. It's a delicate balance, and while fans may focus on individual frustrations, the organization's responsibility is broader, ensuring the team remains competitive while players recover fully. Parsons' comments about missed opportunities or timing reflect emotion, and that's understandable, but the business side of football demands a wider lens. The trade deadline is a perfect example of how this philosophy manifests. Many fans expect blockbuster deals, but in reality, the most impactful moves are often subtle. Trading away critical pieces for uncertain returns is rarely beneficial. Dallas has demonstrated over and over that maintaining core contributors while selectively adding value is the optimal approach. The strategy is not flashy, it's effective. While media outlets may hype potential trades, the real story is about measured action and calculated decisions. The Cowboys are not reacting to every rumor or emotional plea. They are assessing, negotiating, and executing with purpose. This careful orchestration also extends to the draft. Managing first-round selections, balancing mid- and late-round picks, and leveraging the draft to build sustainable depth are all part of a larger strategy. Each selection is considered in terms of positional need, long-term potential, and financial impact. It's not just about filling a roster spot. It's about creating a pipeline of talent that complements the current roster while providing flexibility in future seasons. That approach has allowed the Cowboys to remain competitive year after year without taking unnecessary risks. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. Dallas is buzzing with excitement tonight as whispers around the league hint at a blockbuster move that could reshape the Cowboys season. Sources close to the team are murmuring that Marcus Williams, one of the most talked-about stars in recent years, may be on the verge of joining the Cowboys roster. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the energy in Dallas is palpable, and fans are already dreaming of what this could mean for their beloved team. Williams, known for his explosive performances and game-changing presence, has been the subject of trade speculation for months. Teams across the league have reportedly been in contact, but the Cowboys seem to be leading the charge. Insiders suggest that management has been quietly negotiating behind closed doors, aiming to secure a deal that could bring a serious boost to both the offense and the locker room culture. The prospect of Williams in the Cowboys' colors has generated a wave of excitement not just among the fan base, but also within sports circles nationwide. Rumors hint that the Cowboys front office is planning a strategic announcement soon, possibly aligning with a major media event or even during an upcoming game. Speculation is already running wild on social media, with fans posting everything from potential jersey numbers to imagined highlight reels featuring Williams tearing up the field in silver and blue. Analysts are divided on how this acquisition could impact the team's playoff chances, but one thing is certain. The mere suggestion of Williams joining Dallas has sparked hope and anticipation across the city. Some say the deal could include future draft picks or player exchanges, but the details remain shrouded in mystery. What's undeniable is the buzz. Conversations at sports bars, local cafes, and online forums are all dominated by the possibility of Marcus Williams donning the Cowboys uniform. If true, This would not only elevate the team's performance on the field, but also energize a fan base hungry for another championship run. While the league waits for confirmation, the rumor alone has Cowboys fans in a frenzy. Could this be the beginning of a new era in Dallas? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. The Cowboys are at the center of the NFL's hottest buzz, and Marcus Williams is the name on everyone's lips. Stay tuned. This story is far from over, and the excitement is just beginning. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.